Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Lily Allen Duenas. Together, we'll talk about the world of yoga and we'll talk to people from around the world. Join us for authentic conversations about the global yoga ecosystem, and we'll cover yoga philosophies and methodologies along the way. Inhale, exhale. We're about to dive in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. My name is Lily Allen Duenas, and I'm here today with Hemant Singh, the founder of Punyah Yoga. Hemant Singh is my own yoga teacher in Rishikesh. He is fantastic. I've met him back in 2018, and I went back to India, to Rishikesh in 2019 for more courses. I did an Ashtanga alignment and adjustment course with him, as well as doing daily Ashtanga classes. So as I said, Hemant Singh is the founder of Punyah Yoga, a leading yoga teacher, training school, and yoga shala in Rishikesh. Hemant firmly believes that you have to be passionate about learning yoga in order to experience the real and true benefits of yoga. Hemant's classes do follow the traditional Ashtanga method, with particular emphasis on discipline being the first and foremost foundation of the yoga practice. So thank you, Hemant, for joining me today.
Thank you, Lily Ji. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be with you today.
Thank you. So I was wondering, Hemant, could you just tell us how you got started doing yoga?
Yes, sure. I was introduced to yoga with the Shivananda practice, and my sister Prabha, she used to learn yoga in Shivananda, and that time I used to play cricket, and I had injured my back very badly. So I was looking to get not the treatment, the cure. So she advised me that why don't you go and do yoga classes, because yoga can help you relieve any pain, whether it's physical or mental. And that's how my journey started. And she put me in a beginner's yoga course. It's for 2 weeks with Shivananda. So I just joined regular classes in Delhi. So yeah, it was May 2011 when I started my journey with yoga. And it's been 10 years since I'm on it, and I'm teaching and guiding people.
That's wonderful. So what do you feel like yoga in India is like? How would you describe yoga in India?
Definitely, when you call the word yoga, it naturally resonates, and it talks about the land India. Whenever the yoga comes, and in India, there are lots of states. Every state has unique taste of yoga. And since I belong from Uttarakhand, which is a land of gods, so here yoga, which is not only asana or dhyana or bhakti, it is naturally inbuilt in people's day-to-day life. So it varies, I would say, in India from place to place, and it has many branches. First of all the elements to touch the roots to the tree, these are the branches like asana, pranayama, bhakti, dhyana, yoga nidra, philosophy. If all these branches, all these elements meet correctly, then yoga starts to happen.
I love that you talked about how when all the roots are there, all the branches grow and they're all connected. Because I do think that's a very important gift, that when you go to India and you learn yoga in India and get to study there, that's something that you tap into the roots. That's the birthplace of yoga. It's where yoga originates. So I think yoga in India feels so much more powerful and authentic and important to go to that root source. Would you agree?
Definitely. If we see, yoga is a union, right? Yoga is done to know yourself. What is this self? You're getting to know your soul, basically, right? By conquering the unnecessary activities of body and mind. If these things are met correctly, when your body and mind sync correctly with soul, you get to know your true behavior. You get to know why you have arrived on this earth. There is a certain purpose for everyone to be arrived on earth. That is the highest purpose of yoga. Now, to dig that purpose, to go to the roots, people take many things. They take meditation, they take teacher training courses. Some people like philosophy, some people like yoga talk, some people like to explore yoga how they feel they should, right? So I would say it's a journey, and it's very important that we do not get lost between the body and the mind only. We need to find, we need to have one strong calling, which is called why we are here, you know, who am I, what is my real purpose. Then you can really go deeper into your own roots, and from there, what comes out, you will get to know, how the life process further.
That's very true that it's so individual. And I love how you said that we all have to do this our own way, whether it's bhakti, jnana mudra, whether it's bhakti yoga or jnana yoga, or if it's yoga asana or philosophy, it's all our own individual path to follow.
Exactly, yes.
So, my question for you, maybe it sounds a little basic, but I was wondering, how do you feel that yoga in India is different than yoga, we'll say, in the USA? Do you think the teaching styles are different, or do you think that the classes are very similar? I would just love to hear some maybe comparisons or contrasts from you.
It might sound funny, but I've never been to America, so I do not know the difference between the yoga in America and yoga in India.
Well, I know that you studied in London, so maybe yoga in the UK or yoga in the West. We'll say just a general umbrella term.
In my own experience, I've been to Bali, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Turkey, and seeing yoga there, I should say that whoever is really seeking the yoga practice, right, rather than becoming a teacher, or rather than just thinking I go and taste Indian culture, or I go on travel and I take teacher training course or a particular course. If you do this way and there is no deeper calling in you, you will only get to taste the upper layer. You will not go deeper into your lowest layer. So in the West, even not in the West, even in India, people do yoga just for a little purpose, right? If your purpose is just to be flexible, for an example, right? You don't want to go deeper. You only get to see, I am flexible, and that is yoga for me. Yoga has a deeper meaning, right? So it's not only the West, also in India, and I say every people who have the fire to know themselves, they should go beyond the asana practice, beyond the illusions of the mind, which I see sometimes is little more in the Western, because lots of identification with the body and mind is there, right? So if you only identify yourself as body and the mind, then I would say you are still stuck in that process, which happens a lot in the Western countries, because if you see the deeper meaning of yoga, it's you are neither body, you are nor mind. But actually, the mind is not a leader. It can never be a leader. It can be a great servant to achieve the highest consciousness, or to achieve God, or in order to achieve the realization. The only obstacle which comes between your single soul to the supreme soul is the mind. So this mind and the body are the biggest obstacle, which happens to be how do you say, which happens to be seen more in Western people, that they are only attracted with good and flexible body and a mind. But these two are some stepping stones, towards achieving the highest. Once you have realized that you are not the body, you are not the mind, because If you are living very consciously, if you simply see the behavior of your body and the mind, they keep changing with situations. Do not do yoga for a week, you are tight. If your body is tight, your mind becomes tight. If your body becomes tight, people say, I'm not feeling good, right? So this feeling generates from the mind, goes to the body. And now body listens to the mind. All the organs are connected with the mind, right? So how bad the mind, that bad the body. So even if you don't do yoga for 7 days or a month, you are tight. You should never ever reach to a point where you are telling the senses of the mind you are tight. Because your highest goal is to achieve the self, which is here, right here. The body and mind are rented place for the soul. So they are not real. So once people in the West or even in India, they realize they can achieve their highest potential in life, and they can even go through the moksha and mukti and liberation in their life, and they can live uh, with self detachments.
I love how you said the body and mind are rented space for the soul. I think that is very profound and very true, and it's part of that learning process that occurs in yoga and in meditation about using the body and mind as a bridge to connect with our higher consciousness or to reach for something outside of ourselves, that divine energy, the Atman to the Brahman. So, why do you think in the West, then, it's so easy for us just to identify or connect just with the body and mind, especially in yoga?
So when earth was created, the supreme energy, you call it, or you say the Brahman, or you say God Shiva is same, or you say Jesus, for them everybody is equal. Everybody has capacity to be zero, to become zero. Zero is a state which is very close to give you liberation, first of all, right? But as soon as we are growing so much into materialism, technologies, right? And lots of layers are attached with our mind, right? Our mind has been protected by many layers. It's a layer of making money, right? It's a layer towards getting attracted with somebody else. It's a layer towards eating good food, what you like, you're doing too much, right? So it's not only in the West. As each country become civilized, these layers are natural to come to a person. Even in India, even in people nearby me, I see they are far away from knowing who they are. They even don't know the mind. Mind is playing with them. So, if we talk about the West, first of all, people who are getting knowledge from India or Indonesia, or some part where yoga has been widely spread, they need to really go deeper and they need to take lots of time, you know, into getting to know themselves, right? Once you get to know yourself, these layer effects are already very, very less. For example, if Lily gets to know herself so well, a person comes to Lily, right, will get cured, will get peace. That is the first sign that you know yourself. He will see that you have an aura. This is one of the element that a person is realized. He has realized his soul. He has realized the highest version of yoga, and he is living detachedly in this material world, right? If this feeling you get from your teacher, I say stay there, right? But if you only get the vibes of a teacher that it's just a business model, it is just a asana practice, he's not taking me deeper into my problems. For example, somebody is suffering from grief, right? You just don't give him asana. If somebody has very strong imprint of fear in their soul, you cannot just tell them to do this practice or that practice. First and most important thing in the Western, I see that this is lacking there. People are only understanding the body and mind conditions, but truly they are not going to the deepest root of an individual, what they are suffering from. Once you understand what it is causing, then only you can provide a remedy or a cure or a medicine. So that is very important. And if your teacher do not have that quality, you may like yoga 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Slowly injuries are there, right? Clouds of confusions are there, doubts are there. You are still not becoming ready. I would say the person who wants to deliver real yoga has to go through lots of efforts, lots of higher sadhana. Then it is possible that a person comes to me. If I'm not able to help them, this course has no value. And if even after doing this course people are under confusion, the course has no value. People are still sick, they have no value. There is no value of course. So this is my point of view. This is how I see yoga as, you know and this is how I would like to teach. And this is how, if somebody asks me how it's supposed to be, this is my way of understanding the Western and Indian culture. And if they can adapt this practice, I think we don't need to teach thousands of people. We don't need to train 10,000 of graduates. If you just cure one person, you change one person life, it is enough.
It is that giant ripple effect of changing one life, and then all that comes from that, all of the ripple effects. I agree. I absolutely agree with you there. It's important not just to focus on the masses or the numbers. It's very important that we see each person as every person, and each person that comes to us as teachers as a gift, and as someone that we should help to solve their individual problems or provide them exactly what they need to go deeper. Because as you said, it takes a lot of effort. This isn't something that's easy. It's not just go to one yoga class at a gym once a week and feel like, oh, I'm a yogi. That qualifies me as a yogi now. I love that we're talking so much, Hemant, today about the whole path, about your mentioning sadhana, and we're talking more about all the work that goes in internally to understand our habits, our behaviors, our patterns of our mind, and of our energy, so that we can kind of get to subtler and subtler places, not these coarse energies or these coarse layers, as we say. So I know we've kind of touched on it so far, but what would you say is your definition of yoga?
It's a very short and precise answer. I would say go deeper in your soul and ask your soul, what is your purpose that you rented my body, right? And what are the karmas left to perform in this world? And that is yoga for me.
And what do you feel that yoga has taught you so far? I mean, I know we're both still on that journey, of course, but what has yoga taught you?
Well, I still think that there can be many answers to it. But what has actually brought me into yoga practice and how I see my life after doing 10 years of yoga, that I would like people to help in the best ability of my skills. So if naturally a person comes, I want to work on them, right? I want them to get to their highest potential, to get to know themselves. And within a month of this practice, I want to give them as much as they can absorb, so they can not become confused. They are fearless, they are doubtless, they are crystal clear in the minds, and they understand what are the intentions, what are their duties that we call dharma, and what are their actions towards their duties, which is karma. And that is would be my highest goal as a practitioner of yoga.
And so when a student does come to you in a TTC or in just a normal Ashtanga class at Punyah Yoga or any of your courses you offer, how do you know how much to teach them, or so that they're not getting confused or overwhelmed, as you just mentioned?
It's a very good question, Liliji, that how to have an eye to see that the person you are going to give is ready. So probably the responses, right? How empty he is in the mind, how easy that person is, how simply he understand my simple commands, right? How simply he observes me, how simply he listens to me, how simply he wakes up in the morning. These are the few signs, If there is complexity, if there is a laziness, these two people you can never teach. It's very straightforward, but complexity, if a person is complex, he makes simplest things complex. That's his main feature. If a person is lazy, that's his main feature. He will make things lazy. So people, I would say, need to come here with simplicity, because here the way I teach, the way further I develop my teaching, it's very simple. So simply, I would say probably his behavior, and I also have ability to see how much he is good in his heart, and that really matters to me. So if the heart is really clean, very original, it's very easy. If the heart is not clean, not original, then the person has to go some purifications. Then the length of achieving self is higher.
So it's through observing. You just kind of notice, pay attention, and also check in with their level of presence, kind of what they're bringing to the classroom, how they're observing or how they're watching or how they're performing certain activities or things. It's through your process of just kind of observing their mind, their body, and their energy. It seems like all three. Oh, and their heart. So 4.
Correct, yes. My Guruji just not even see the person. If I just say a person name is John, right? John Cartier, he will understand everything about that person. So he is realized to that level. Just John Cartier, all the data comes to him. But I am not at that level, so I am also going through some techniques. Like Shivananda used to watch a person from bottom to top, top to bottom, get to know everything about that person. So, but until we are not at that level, yes, what you said, observation, simplicity, his behavior, and his heart are few things that I watch after, and I understand that person is ready to, uh, ready to deliver.
All right. So if a student does walk into your classroom, what is one thing, the most important thing you think you need to teach them?
In India, we worship everything. We worship our door. We worship our motorbike. We worship our uh, yoga shala. We worship trees, plants, because we see that they all are the messages from the highest energy, right? So the person who walks in, first of all, should respect the space. And the highest quality of a yogi is to be timeless. He do not care about the time or this clock, which is man-made. So in order to take the person to timeless, I need to see that he is on time today to be timeless. So first respecting the space, and second to be on time. Then I really like that these two qualities are met before I start teaching them.
So is there something about yoga philosophy or the history of yoga or yoga psychology or methodology that you think is just key, just vital for students to understand, no matter if they're a beginner, intermediate, advanced? Is there something that you think might be missing, some elements, some knowledge that you would like to share with listeners here about yoga and the path and something they need to know?
Sacred books, I believe, should be learned under the practitioners, because it takes almost a one life to understand one book. If you start to study on your own, there may be a chance that you get confused. You are your own book. Read that book first. So that is why when you are under a guru, guru never gives you book. Guru is a light that always shows you that you read your own book. So he reads you better. So for him, you are a book, and he lets you read your book his way.
Right student, right time, right teacher. I think that is one of the most powerful kind of knowledges or phrases that I've digested when I was in India, is that when the right student comes at the right time, then the right teacher will appear. You just have to be in that space and kind of creating that space for yourself to find the right teacher. And it seems like when you're mentioning how a guru would be treating their student, that resonates as well, that it's right student, right teacher, right time.
Almost, I would say this phrase needs some editing. In order to know the right time and the right teacher, the person has to be sensitive. If he is not sensitive and emotional, how would he understand it is the right time or the right knowledge or the right teacher? Right? So he has to believe in coincidences. If a person has a stone heart, he will not believe in coincidences. He believes in facts and logics. And when the truth appears in front of you, the truth, the highest truth, not true or false, it doesn't have a logic. So that's why I say, do not seek the right time or right teacher, flow. Be sensitive and flow. Second editing, I would say, in this phrase is that if you're calling from the deepest of your heart is fiery, is super strong, you become sensitive. When you become sensitive, you start to see coincidences. You start to see uh, the nature, the law of attractions. You start to see how things sync on, side by side. Then right teacher comes, because now you have an insight who is right for you, right? Right time comes because you are sensitive and you are believing in coincidences, so you will make sense out of nothing, right? That's also good quality of a yogi, right? Even if a leaf fall from the tree, he know its highest meaning, but for a normal person it's just a waste, or it just dried, it had to. So if these things are met, sensitivity, your calling, inner calling, then right teacher, right time, right knowledge appears in front of you. That is my own experience.
So it sounds like right teacher, right time, right student does need some editing to make sure that it actually is something that can benefit every person or benefit each person individually. Because developing that sensitivity, I think, is part of that getting to know yourself better and better.
100%.
Yeah, because I think we kind of run away from ourselves so much. We're constantly trying to escape ourselves, escape our lives, escape via, drugs, alcohol, staying busy, watching Netflix. I think we usually, as a culture or just as people, we try very hard not to be with just ourselves. We can find that very uncomfortable. And so I do feel that meditation or asana practice or any of the limbs or practices of yoga, I find to be just ways of connecting with yourself, getting quiet and just being with yourself to understand yourself more.
Totally, I agree with you. Like, we are running a goat race in this world. We are all goats and we are just following the leader. And we do not know the leader. And in this goat race, many, many, many things are there, So for money, we are doing a goat race. To watch movies, everybody watch movie, we watch the same movies. Somebody goes to park, we have to go to park. Everybody is eating in every 3 hours, we have to eat in every 3 hours. So when so actually indirectly we are pretending to be somebody else. Then how we can go deeper within ourselves when every day we are trying to do everything away from ourselves? That has to be uncovered. So when you lead your own life, when you know these small, again, sensitive and coincidences, that, oh, I don't want to run a goat race, I want to know myself, I will bring the change in the world. Only few people, Liliji, are there in the world who wants to make such a change, and therefore they bring the change, and then they lead the world. But right intention has to be there.
Yeah, the intention to help everyone, all living beings, should be the intention, not helping yourself to achieve something for your ego. When I think you have those altruistic intentions, it helps to kind of manifest what you are seeking. It draws those energies to you when it's not for just selfish endeavors.
Totally agree. Yes, totally agree with you.
Yeah, so I feel like we have talked about so many good things today, Hemantji. I'm so grateful that you have taken this time to be with me today. I wanted to ask, how can people get in touch with you?
People can simply log into our websites, which is punyayoga.com, and they can find me there. They can also go to their phone, they can go to Instagram. We are present there as Punyah Yoga. Personally, I am also available under the identity of Hemant_Singh06. And if you want to find me physically, I am based in Rishikesh, in Punyah Yoga in Tapovan. Yes, but keep me in your heart. You don't have to find me.
That's sweet. I will definitely include links to everything Hemant mentioned in the show notes and on my website. So you can get in touch with him, reach out with any questions you have. I know that he is a true teacher and someone that is an incredible resource to tap into and to follow and to get involved with. So any questions that you have, I'm sure he's happy to answer and to connect with you on. Is that correct?
That is correct, Lily Ji.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Hemant, for being with me today. I'm so happy we had this conversation. Thank you.
Same here, my pleasure, and thank you for inviting me. I am forever grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. It has been a privilege to be with you. I know that your time is precious, and I am both humbled and honored that you chose to spend your time with me here on the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. As you are on your own inner journey, remember that you are not alone. There are so many of us on this path to awakening, this path of self-discovery and expansion, and we are right here alongside you. Remember to hit subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you feel called, please share this episode with someone that you think could benefit from it. Leaving a review would also be so appreciated. If you're on social media, I am there too at the Wild Yoga Tribe. You can tap into all the amazing resources on my website, thewildyogatribe.com, and you can meditate with me on Insight Timer and get your flow on with me on my YouTube channel, where I've recorded free yoga classes. If you would like to schedule a private yoga or meditation class with me or a coaching session, you can find the link to do so to book in the show notes or on my website, again, thewildyogatribe.com. Thank you once again, dear listener, for being with me. May your day be light and bright. May you be peaceful and happy and led on the right path, free of suffering and free of sorrow. Be well, dear one. Be well.